Never again should a court system that dismisses women like Amber Heard as liars and gold diggers silence them. In the aftermath of her legal struggle with Johnny Depp, the actress's lawyer delivered a stinging critique. "Liar." This phrase was repeated as our car approached the side entrance of the Royal Courts of Justice in London. Fans of Johnny Depp pressed up against the vehicle, hoping to catch a glimpse of his ex-wife Amber Heard through the glass. The first day of what was touted as the libel trial of the century had begun. Depp was suing the Sun tabloid for defamation because they called him a wife-beater. He claimed Amber had lied about the domestic violence she said she had suffered during their relationship. As a human rights barrister, I was representing Amber as she gave evidence in support of the newspaper's case. We could hear the crowd before we could see them, bellowing, yelling, booing. Among them were grown men dressed as Johnny Depp, or at least as his screen characters Jack Sparrow and Edward Scissorhands. They had taken up his cause as if it were their own. They held up hand-drawn placards, "Men too, Gold Digger, Amber Lies, Amber the Abuser." In Johnny Depp, it was as if they saw the victim of a cancel culture supposedly obsessed with bringing white masculinity down. He was not just someone suing in costly defamation proceedings with a huge legal team and a PR campaign of the kind very few people can afford. The actor had somehow become an everyman, unfairly accused and subject to the same witch hunt that had seen the demise of every guy who had made an off-color office joke since Me Too. Every man who had been sacked for coming on to the junior women at work or making now inappropriate comments. They saw their own ex-wives in custody battles, and the child support they had been forced to pay. Maybe they sympathized with Depp when they learned he had sent a message to Elton John calling his ex-wife and mother of his children Vanessa Paradis, a French extortionist C. Maybe they agreed with his texts calling women whores and wishing ruin and death on Amber, his ex. They saw all of this in Johnny Depp. To them he was an anti-establishment hero, the kind he so convincingly played in movies. I had worked on cases that had drawn a crowd before, including representing WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, but I had never seen anything like this. Celebrity fandom and misogyny converged. I reached out to squeeze Amber's hand. It was 2020, 4 years since she had got a domestic violence restraining order against Depp from a Californian judge. Amber had never detailed the violence she said she suffered during her relationship with Depp in public, nor did she ever want to. Before Depp's defamation claim, Amber had only told a judge in California enough detail about the violence to obtain the original restraining order back in 2016, long before Me Too went viral. Once she got the order, she had no interest in talking about it again, and she had signed a non-disclosure agreement as part of their divorce that prevented her from doing so. It was only after Me Too that Depp would sue. In 2018, Depp sued The Sun over an article which had questioned J.K. Rowling's decision to cast Depp in her film franchise, given that Amber had been granted a restraining order by a judge and Rowling's support for Me Too. Depp was suing for more than £300,000 in damages and in order to prohibit The Sun from ever again stating that he was a wife-beater, which would also prevent other media from repeating it. He would eventually sue Amber in the United States, demanding $50 million in damages, which would have bankrupted Amber. Her legal fees were exorbitant. He had vowed to exact vengeance on her after she had abandoned him. "She's begging for utter global disgrace," he stated in a text message to his agency. "She's going to get it." He was finally getting his way, owing to the law.